For all of that, let's get across what's been making headlines here at home with two of the best in the business. From Brisbane, Sky News Queensland Editor Peter Gleeson, and from Sydney, Sky News host and radio broadcaster Chris Smith. Well, gentlemen, let's start with this big defence review today announced by the Prime Minister. Force posture, it's called, and composition of the ADF. It'll be led by former Defence Chief Sir Angus Houston and former Labor Defence Minister Stephen Smith. Not without controversy, Stephen Smith. Let's have a listen to what Andrew Hastie had to say about Smith's appointment today.
Australia is facing the most complex strategic environment in 70 years. And who does he send in to conduct the review? The bloke who did the biggest defence cuts in the last 70 years. Stephen Smith, the one-man razor gang.
And if I remember rightly too, Gleeson, Stephen Smith was really snaky when he left Foreign Affairs and ended up in Defence. He wasn't happy about the appointment. And now he's back as part of this razor gang.
He didn't want to be Defence Minister, and he was very... there was a lot of criticism from the uniformed officers about his appointment. Indecisive, a bloke who was disinterested in the portfolio, and as Andrew Hastie said, at a time when, you know, we're probably at our most precarious from a geopolitical and strategic viewpoint in 70 years. You've got the wrong bloke running the show. It's a bit like putting Al Capone in charge of an investigation into the tax department. Angus Houston is very much, you know, the hero of the side here. Let's hope that he can add some sanity to this particular review.
And Chris, you know, I didn't hear Labor talk about this during the election campaign. We had Richard Marles copping all that criticism over his alleged links to China, and certainly, you know, showing speeches to the Chinese embassy here before he gave them in Beijing. He kept denying he'd be the Defence Minister. Well, he's there now. And you bring back someone like Smith. I mean, I remember the cuts to national security under the former Labor government. I remember that they couldn't put a ship in the water, and they certainly made no decision on submarines. The small target rubbish, they're not a small target in government.
No, they don't know how to run particular portfolios. They don't know what to do here. But they also, Peter, don't know how to run a review either. For a start, everyone in the defence space is laughing about the appointment of Stephen Smith. Gleeson summed it up beautifully, as did you. But who creates a review where you'll get recommendations with two people and not an odd number? Like, you've got to have an odd number because if someone disagrees, what shape does the recommendation come in? And you know the one person in this country who should be on any review for the ADF, the bloke you mentioned before, Peter, the former general, the former the senator now, Jim Molan should be on that review. Without Jim Molan, it's not worth a pack of poo ticket.
Well, the Greens are going to back Labor's emissions reduction bill. This is the 2030 emissions target, Gleeson. So does this mean, do you think, the climate wars really are over?
Well, of course not. And, of course, Peter Dutton today raised the spectre of having the debate around nuclear, which is very obvious. I mean, nuclear-powered energy and power is such a big part of what goes on in Europe and the United States and Japan. So that's obviously a debate that we need to have. But the Greens have made it very clear. They will support this bill as the nibble-nibble syndrome, the first part of a tranche of measures to try and phase out gas and coal over the next 30 years. And, you know, all those people who voted for the Greens, you've got your way. You've got Adam Baird in there now saying that he will support the bill, and then, of course, they'll go on and try and do more. But I really worry about how this will impact. As Newton's law said, for every action, there is a reaction. And so when you start phasing out coal mines, when you start phasing out gas in this country, and we've already got a gas problem, the escalation in costs, there will be a massive... If you think inflation's bad now, guys, wait till the Greens get a hold of all of these energy and climate change policies.